Sports announcer Stephen Smith, who works for ESPN, said in response to black people, calling him all sorts of names, saying that he was less than black, he was not black, for saying that Mark Cuban had said racist things when Mark Cuban had said that if he saw a black guy on the street at night wearing a hoodie, he would cross the street. And if he saw a white guy with tattoos all over the place, he would also cross the street. To which Stephen Smith replied that that was not racist. That was just good judgment. And he feels the same exact way. He went on to say, and this is the whole point of this video, you can admire Jay-Z, you can admire LeBron James, but the reality of the situation is you can't be a Kanye West. You can't be a Michael Jordan. Those are unique individuals where the celestial bodies align to create them and to create the situation that they're in, where they make tens of millions of dollars or even hundreds of millions of dollars. He said, but you can be Stephen Smith, because Stephen Smith was held back a grade, got out of high school, went back into high school, got his degree, graduated from a black college, worked his way up to being on ESPN. If you put in the time, you can make it happen to where you are Stephen Smith. But there's nothing that millions of you can do so that you can be a Jay-Z. There's nothing that millions of you can do to be a LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Kanye West or whoever you think you admire. I make these videos. I'm a Pan-Africanist, which means that my ultimate goal is for the complete freedom and equality, not better than white people, equal in power and autonomous and separate. It's in the definition, autonomous and separate from white people. We do not need white people to make our clothes. We do not need white people to make our cars. And in reality, we don't. We can do all of this sort of stuff. You know, we have black engineers that make all of those things. Black designers, black tailors, black people with warehouses. We already have everything that white people have. We already have it. It hurts my feelings when I say something from a libertarian standpoint and black people come onto my channel and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not black. This is impossible. That's not what I was taught. So you are wrong. Well, I'm here to tell you, black people. Now, the only thing I focus on is black people, because when white people talk, they talk about something completely different from black people. Their insult is just an insult. Just as much as you think that what I'm telling you is not black, the rule book that you are reading out of was created by the very same people that you hate so much, that you think that I should hate so much. I don't have hate in my heart for anybody. I said at the very beginning of creating my channel, white people, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm going to concentrate on black people. I'm going to tell black people how to be successful. You can listen. You're not the target, but you can listen. And if you take notes, you also will be successful. And here is a tidbit of information for all of you, black, white, or green, blue, whatever. The United States was actually not really created for quote unquote white people. White supremacy does not lay upon the shoulders of the Klan member, of the skinhead, of the redneck, of the cracker, of the hillbilly, of the Cajun, of the slave foreman. The country was not created for them, and that is not the focus of the country. Just like I say exactly who I focus on particular videos, the United States was not focused nor intended for white people. It was intended for the elite, and that's it. If you don't know, not every white person could vote. And not every white person could vote for a very long time. Up until the, 20s? I want to say? Whenever the suffragettes got through. Did you know that regular white people couldn't vote? White men, I'm talking about. I think it's really ironic that the people claiming to be superior in the United States, the ones who are out and out outspoken about how superior they are, come from commoner peasant stock. They weren't the slave masters. They weren't the captains of industry. You could actually count the families, and it was always families, the families whom this country was technically given to. It wasn't the guy that cracked the whip on the slave. That guy was a commoner, was a peasant. He got no more respect than the slave. And when I mean he got no more respect than the slave, I literally mean that they were peasants, commoners. They were not well looked upon by the people who actually were in power. And it is the same way today. Now, people want to come into my channel and say, well, don't you know about Black Wall Street? Yes, I know about Black Wall Street. I know more than just Black Wall Street. It's just like when people say, don't you know about Harriet Tubman? Harriet Tubman was just one woman. She wasn't even the best Underground Railroad engineer, as she says. She was just one woman. It just so happened people got to know because she became infamous. Why? Because she was a woman. There was all these men doing the same exact thing. There was all these men who actually created the Underground Railroad to get slaves to freedom. She didn't start nothing. Anything. Not at all. She wasn't a pioneer. She was just one person. Black Wall Street was just one event of many. I know about the other events. I know about the race riots, the constant race riots that happened in the North. Who instigated these race riots? The peasants, the white peasants who came from the South, who had nothing, who had no skills. Listen to this. Had no skills, went to the North seeking jobs. Does this sound familiar to you? Who else did that? Black people. Why did they do this? Because there were a few black people who had skills, and they, sort of like the unions in the North, it's not that they really kept out everybody, but nobody else could learn the skills and have the tools. In fact, black people in the South were so skilled that you only called a black person to do that. And who called a black person? The people with money enough to do that. The white peasants left the South just like the black common people did. But the white people beat the black people to the North. That's when they created the unions and said, oh, no, you're not going to have these Negroes come up here and take my job from me. Let's form a union. Let's start minimum wage, where you have to pay somebody $2 a day. You have to, and you cannot pay less than that. So when the black guy comes up and said, I will work for $1 a day, they said, no, we have a law against that. But I'm a skilled worker. That doesn't matter. And they had race riots because the common peasant white person wasn't going to stand for a black person to come in and take their jobs. So the unions kept out black people. You couldn't join a union as a black person. And I've made video after video after that specific statement right there. And we have black union people coming onto my video today and say, that's not true. Yes, it is true. Chicago ran red with the blood of black people being slaughtered in the streets. They had to call in the National Guard. They had to call the governor to get the white peasants to stop killing. Lynching happened all over the United States. It didn't just happen in the South. Everybody wants to concentrate on the South. I'm a student of history. I know my history. And if I say we did not need MLK, stop embracing him, that's exactly what I mean. You didn't need MLK. What we're doing now, my video about the 10 richest black communities in the United States, that was in spite of MLK. MLK was a pronounced, outspoken Marxist. Marxism, communism, socialism is bad for the black man. It's bad for the black man worldwide. It simply means that you will not be paid what you work for. Somebody's going to come along and take it from you and distribute it to who? Somebody that they like better. And do you think that better person is going to be black? No. Rosa Parks, communist, Marxist. They both went to the same exact school of communism. You don't need them. And here's one thing that really hurts my heart. Black people accept people into their heart because the person was put in front of them. They don't even question the credentials of the person. You know, Martin Luther King said, I would rather not be judged by the color of my skin, but the content of my character. The content of Martin Luther King's character was horrible, terrible. He was not working for the black man. Al Sharpton is not working for the black man. Jesse Jackson not working for the black man. Tavis Smiley, the guy who dresses up as a woman, Louis Farrakhan, they're working for themselves. They're not working for the black man. Not at all. Nation of Islam, not for the black man. It's communist, socialist. That's horrible. Brother, you need to donate to and help your brother out. No, you don't. You don't give your brother a fish. You teach your brother how to fish. That's exactly what my channel is about. And I keep saying, question your government. Question your quote unquote leaders. Why do white people not have leaders? Huh? They don't have leaders. Why is that? Are we sheep that we need a shepherd? And people, you keep saying that. Oh, he's a good shepherd. You don't even question your pastor, somebody that you actually give money directly to, having prostitution rings up in church, having pedophilia going on up in church. You don't even question your religion. You're free now. You can worship whomever you want to. Do you know that your great-great-grandfather was terrorized, feet chopped off, hands chopped off, genitals mutilated, hung around the neck, houses burned to get him to worship Christianity? You don't even question it. And in fact, if I say it, you think I have just committed a grave sin. How dare I say something like that? You were beaten. You were tarred and feathered to get you to worship this thing. That's not your religion. You're free now. You can worship whatever you want to. And in fact, the very Bible that you're reading and worshiping out of is a direct, complete change in the actual scripture. I'm not even going to call you scripture. Books. You don't even question it. A slave owes to his master what he will. A good slave, a slave who is good at management. And then we have black people in the Mormon church. Oh my God. The entire black community should rise up and stone those people. I mean, if you've gone that far. And what's funny is that Christians will judge the black people in the Mormon church, but don't even look at what they're worshiping themselves. You don't question anything. Anything? You're an adult, right? I know all of you all felt the pangs when you were a teenager. Oh, I can't wait to get out of this house. Then I can do things my way. But you don't. You do exactly what your mom and dad told you to do. Exactly. You better get your butt in church or you're going to go to hell. It's not a very loving God, is it? And have you questioned the scripture? Have you pondered the scripture? Have you pondered the religion itself? No. In fact, you haven't questioned anything. I tell everybody, question your government. That's the foundation of the country, to question the government. It says so in the Constitution that you have a right to go to Congress and question him. That's in the Constitution. Obviously, they thought that was really important. So much so that they put it in the Constitution. They even put in the Constitution that you have a right to question a judge or the district attorney or whoever accuses you of doing a crime. You have a right to question it. It's all over the place in American society. We don't live in Europe where they're taught from childbirth that they are to obey their betters. They are supposed to obey their elders. They're supposed to obey whoever's in charge. And you have black people still obeying, worshiping the religion of the slave master. That is heinous. You need to question your life. What's funny is you pass judgment on Islam. on Muslims. Oh, those people are going to hell. How many other religions do you say that about? Those people are going to hell. They don't know Jesus. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Wait a minute. You need to take a look at yourself. You're worshiping the religion of the slave master. You're free now. What's funny is people come and use that argument against me. You're free now. You need to think freely. What? Wait, what? So I need to think freely. That's your argument against me. But you berate me and insult me if I tell you that Martin Luther King was bad. You can't even conceive of a scenario where we did not have Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. And I've told you time and time again what should have happened. When black people got together and stopped buying stuff from white people. Oh, they can take your money all they want. They can come rob, pillage you, burn your house down. But when black people stopped buying stuff from white people, that's when it got serious. And Martin Luther King was sent to shut that down. Kennedy instructed Martin Luther King. I guess you don't remember. And you have white Jesus, Martin Luther King, and Kennedy sitting up on your wall like they're the holies of they're the holy trinity of black people. Kennedy. Do you know the guy? He instructed Martin Luther King to shut that whole economic thing down. Stop these boycotts. Stop all that crap. We can't have it. You know what you can do? You can talk about voter registration. We're going to repeal all of those laws and get those law spots where you can go vote. Now, you know today, 2015, that your vote doesn't mean anything. Nothing. I don't care how many of you all go out and vote. It doesn't mean anything. You already know that, right? Because we have a such thing called the Electoral College for the presidency. It doesn't even matter. And in the 2008 election, we had people, and the 2012, we had people who the vast majority of their constituents voted one way, and the electorate went and voted the exact opposite. I mean, how blatant can it be? You don't question anything. I want you to go back, all of you black people who want to come in and insult me and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I want you to go back and look at all the times when black people said, we are going to boycott, and they boycotted. Look at all of it. It's happened in 2000, 94, 80s, right? They boycotted the people who were donating to apartheid. Stuff got done, huh? I've told you that. You didn't need Martin Luther King. You were doing fine. Martin Luther King stopped you from doing what you should have been doing. Stopped you. And then said, vote Democrat. The people who were burning down your houses, lynching you, terrorist, U.S. terrorist. Martin Luther King said, go vote for them. That's your MLK. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Have you studied history? Have you seen what you can do when you're all together and put your mind to it? True power on this planet comes when you have the ability to destroy a thing. Listen to that quote right there. True power comes when you have the ability to destroy a thing. What do I mean by that? When you stop buying all Apple products, when you stop buying all Google products, when you stop spending your money in a white community, in a Korean community, in a Chinese community, an Italian community, when you stop buying weave from Koreans, when you stop spending $2.3 billion in Korean stores, keeping the economy of Korea alive. Do you know that all of the high-tech industries pulled out of Korea because the Koreans became too expensive? That's when they started moving to Thailand, China, what have you. You're keeping the economy of Korea alive because you are spending your money elsewhere. It's all about money. That's all that matters. This Jesus stuff doesn't matter. This is the United States. This is 2015. Jesus doesn't matter. There, I said it. I know you're going to tear your hair out. You shouldn't be worshiping him to begin with. You should not be worshiping a slave master religion to begin with. I know this is shocking coming from me. This is shocking coming from the intellectual. No, I don't wear dashikis. I don't say peace, brother. I don't say hotep, brother. I don't walk around doing that. I don't have a big afro. Well, I do, but I don't wear it. I don't have a big afro walking around like my queen, my king. I don't walk around saying that, but the message is the same, the exact same. You shouldn't be doing that. You have no business worshiping a white man. Oh, but he wasn't what the original Hebrews. You have no business worshiping. That was not your religion anyway. Yes, there were a few black Hebrews, but the Hebrews were tiny people. They're so tiny, they're insignificant in history. All of these people that you see now are all converts, European converts. And not only that, but they completely rewrote the entire religion. It doesn't even compare to the original religion. Not even close. We had ancient gods, hundreds of thousands years old. If you want to really worship somebody, how about worshiping a God that was 100,000 years old? Not a God that is 2,000 years old. Oh, he's 4,000. Okay, 4,000 years old. 100,000 years. And in a religion that could teach you to survive in Africa, in the elements, actual practical knowledge. None of this stuff about he really loves you. Why don't you all come together and give all your money away? What kind of religion tells you to give all your money away? You can't enter heaven unless you give all of your money away. Doesn't that sound like a slave master religion? Here, read this verse right here. It says you have to give all of your money. So you need to go up there to that church and give all of your money away. And then you're going to get in heaven. Talk about a scam, huh? I bet you used car salesmen would love to have that sort of line. You need to give me all your money so you can get this brand new car. What? You don't question anything. My entire channel is question everything. I've even said question me. Go look it up. I don't want you to be sheep. I don't want you to blindly follow what I say. Question everything. I lived in Africa. I've seen Africa. I lived up close with Africans. I don't have the hang-ups that black Americans do. I had to have somebody explain to me what good and bad hair means. I had to have somebody explain to me what light skin and dark skin actually means. What does it mean? Because I knew they weren't talking about just a hue, a shade. Because I could hear it in their voice. They meant something completely different than that person has tan skin and that person has dark brown skin. I knew there was something else going on under the surface. But growing up the way I did, that was never an issue, never a question. Never. I never even questioned. That's so weird. So strange. I don't have these hang-ups. Question me, but go research. Right? Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.